Hi, I'm Brian Levee, a product manager on the Google Docs team. And this is Alan Yang, another product manager on the team. Nowadays, people use a number of tools at work in order to get things done. Over the last few years, we've worked to integrate Google Docs into the G Suite applications as well as third-party tools. But in order to further improve users' workflows, we know that we need to go further to seamlessly integrate Google Docs into the applications that users use most. All right, I'll do it by hand. Today, we're going to go over existing integrations that are offered by Docs, Sheets, and Slides, as well as introduce 3 new types of integrations that are currently in development. We have Slides add-ons, templates integrations, and storage integrations. We've been working with a number of partners on these new integrations, and I'm excited to have 2 of them with us here today to walk us through the integrations that are currently being worked on. Let's start with the existing integrations offered by Google Docs. Add-ons in Docs and Sheets, and APIs for Sheets and Slides. Docs and Sheets add-ons allow third-party developers to add functionality that allow users to accomplish new workflows within the editors. Add-ons can be installed from within Docs and Sheets using the top-level add-on menu, and then are installed from within the editor through the Chrome Web Store. Add-ons can interact with documents and spreadsheets in a number of manners, including showing sidebars and dialogues within the editor. We've seen add-ons in Google Docs that have performed a number of use cases. There are add-ons that make it easy to insert and create diagrams directly in your document. Add-ons that have provide writing aids to users to check grammar and document readability. There are add-ons that offer translation services, as well as business tools, such as document signatures and templates. Lucidchart is an example of a popular add-on in Google Docs that makes it easy for users to insert as well as to create diagrams ranging from mind maps to flowcharts and other types of diagrams, all from within the Google Docs editor. Sheets add-ons, as well, has been created for a variety of use cases. We've seen Sheets add-ons that allow for cross-product integrations, add-ons that pull in data from external sources, such as Google Analytics and third parties. There are add-ons that help with advanced formatting in order to make spreadsheets look professional, as well as add-ons that provide workflow assistance, such as automatic document creation and mail merge. Let's take a look at yet another mail merge, which is a popular Sheets add-on, in this case created by an independent developer. Yet another mail merge makes it easy for users to import their contacts while in Google Sheets, and then send mail merges without even having to leave the Google Sheets editor. That was add-ons for Docs and Sheets. Last year, we also introduced APIs for Sheets and Slides. These APIs make it easy for developers to pull and push data and content in and out of spreadsheets and presentations, making it easy to automatically generate spreadsheets and presentations, as well as keep them in sync with third-party tools. Whereas you saw add-on user flows typically starting from within the editor, API user journeys often start from the third-party tool. We've seen the Sheets API used for integrations across a variety of use cases, including syncing customer data with your CRM, making sure your timelines stay in sync in the spreadsheet with your project management tool, and exporting data from the tools that you use most into Sheets to make it easy to manipulate the data and create visualizations. Let's take a look at an example integration that Asana created using the Sheets API. From within Asana, users can view project dashboards in order to see how projects are going and keep track of what's going on their teams. When you're managing a number of teams, this quickly becomes difficult to do. So Asana used the Sheets API in order to allow users to open these reports in Google Sheets, where they can create visualizations that make it easy for them, for the team leads and managers, to keep track of what's going on and identify what areas need their attention. In addition, leveraging the Sheets API, Asana was able to keep the data in Sheets up to date with any changes made back in Asana. Similarly, the Slides API has been used for a variety of use cases, automatically generating presentations that pull in customer data from CRMs, adding project updates to presentations from project management tools, and exporting diagrams, visualizations, and other content. ProsperWorks used the Slides API in order to allow users to tag templated fields in Google Slides with metadata that allows ProsperWorks to pull in associated customer data directly from the CRM into dynamically created presentations. No more having to manually copy-paste all of this customer data from the CRM into each new presentation that you make. ProsperWorks makes it easy to automatically generate these presentations for you, saving you a lot of time and energy and creating dynamic presentations that merge with your customer data. So we've covered add-ons in Docs and Sheets, which bring the power of third-party tools into the editors, as well as APIs for Sheets and Slides, which allow spreadsheets and presentations to stay in sync with third-party tools. We've gotten great feedback from both our users, our customers, and our partners on these integrations, which is why we're very excited to announce 3 new types of integrations in Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides that are currently in development. We have Slides add-ons, templates integrations, and storage integrations. To walk us through these new integrations, we're going to introduce Lois, a sales manager at a retail company in the Midwest, who's going to help us walk through some examples. I'll now hand it over to Alan to walk us through add-ons in Slides and template integrations.
Thanks, Brian. And thanks to all of you for being here today. We're really excited to share what we've been working on. So Lois is wanting to make a presentation to help pitch a new product line to her senior leadership. In order for her slides to be successful, they're going to need to be punchy and polished. As you know, Google Slides is a great product to help you make presentations that are beautiful and collaboratively made with your team. Today, we're very excited to announce that the same add-ons framework that exists for Docs and Sheets today is coming to Slides as well. Soon, users will be able to use Slides add-ons to leverage partners such as Balsamiq, Lucidchart, and Adobe Stock in order to insert beautiful diagrams and photos into their slides. We made Slides add-ons with the intent to help users become more efficient by eliminating unnecessary context switches, and we'll see what that means in a little bit. First, let's take a look at what our partners at Adobe Stock have come up with. Lois has drafted her deck, but now she wants to add a bunch of high-quality images in order to help emphasize her point. To do this, she thinks there might be a Slides add-on that can help. So she visits the top-level add-ons menu and goes into the add-ons store. In the store, she notices that there's a new add-on from Adobe Stock to help her with stock photos. So that's the one she chooses to install. Using this add-on, Lois now has access to Adobe Stock's entire database of high-quality stock photos. And using this add-on sidebar, she can search through those photos by category, such as icons, as well as search by theme, such as workplace. For any particular photo, she can choose to buy the license to use that photo. She can preview it in her slide, or she can look at similar images from Adobe stock. When she's settled on the photo she wants to use, she can log into Adobe Stock using either her Adobe Stock credentials or using her Google account. Previously, in order to accomplish the same workflow, Lois would have had to open a new tab or window, browse through the partners database there, purchase the licenses to those images there, and then import those photos back into Slides. But now, with this new Slides add-on, Lois is able to accomplish the same workflow all within the Slides interface. This is exactly what we mean by saying we want to reduce unnecessary context switches. So moving on into Deck, Lois wants to create a rather complex process flow diagram to help her company troubleshoot defective new designs. Normally, she could do this by creating a bunch of shapes in Slides, filling those shapes with text, connecting them with lines and arrows, and then figuring out how to lay those out on a slide in an appealing way. But what if she had access to a more powerful diagramming tool like Lucidchart? Well, we're excited to announce that our partners at Lucidchart are also working on a Slides add-on. With this add-on, Lois can log into her Lucidchart account and see a list of all her previous diagrams. Lois remembers that at one point in time, she did create a troubleshooting flow, and indeed, she finds it here in her list of files. She's able to preview this diagram in the lower right corner of the add-on sidebar, and by hitting the blue Insert button, she can insert that diagram as an image into her slide. After doing this, though, she realizes that she wants to make a couple of small tweaks to this diagram. So she hits the Edit button in the middle of the sidebar and gets taken to Lucidchart's powerful new web diagram editor. This allows Lois to use the full power of the Lucidchart tool to edit the diagram in any way she wishes. When she's done, she can return to her slide, and by simply hitting that refresh button in the lower right-hand corner, the new version of the diagram will replace the old version. Great. So Lois now has successfully completed her diagram slide, but she also wants to create a few wireframes of what the web page for this new product might look like. To do this, she can use the Balsamiq add-on. Balsamiq is a great tool that helps you quickly create wireframes and prototypes. Lois has installed the Balsamiq add-on, and she notices that it connects with her Google Drive, which is where Balsamiq stores all of her work. Using the add-on, Lois can browse through her entire list of all Balsamiq projects that she's worked on, and with the sidebar, she can even search through those different projects. When she double-clicks on a particular project, she can see the individual wireframes or mocks that make up that project, and she gets a preview of each of those mocks. For any given mock, she can hit the Edit button to be taken to Balsamiq's powerful web editor, which brings the full experience of Balsamiq to bear on any diagram she wants to edit. When she's done, she can go back to Slides and insert the wireframe or mock into her slide. Later on, she knows that if she makes any edits to a particular mock or wireframe, she can always refresh all the mocks in her deck to get the latest version. These are just some examples of Slides add-ons that our partners are working on. If there are any developers in the room who would be interested in working with us to develop a Slides add-on, please feel free to drop us a note at the URL on this slide, because we'll be opening a Trusted Tester program in just a couple of months. If you're excited to use Slides add-ons, they'll be coming out later this year, and we're excited to have a great set of launch partners that will be in the Chrome Web Store. Using this new integration, Lois is able to create a beautiful presentation, successfully pitch her new product line to leadership, and get it approved. She then goes out to a potential supplier and negotiates a great deal for her company. But now she needs to encapsulate that negotiation into a formal document that both parties will sign. To do this, our next docs integration will help. Template integrations. As you may know, towards the end of last year, Google Docs released the ability for companies to have their own internal company template galleries. And at this point, I'd love to see a quick show of hands for anybody who's had a chance to try out these new galleries in the Docs, Sheets, or Slides home screens. Great, decent number here. Terrific. Well, we hope you've enjoyed that experience. And if you haven't had a chance to try it yet, we highly, highly encourage you to do so. So template integrations are the next step in templates. A template integration is a pairing of a specific template with a specific add-on. With this pairing, we're excited to bring the power and domain expertise of our partners to the flexibility of Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. This feature is coming out later this year and is currently under development, but at launch, there will be a set of Google-curated template integrations, as well as the ability for enterprise users to pair their own templates with any add-ons they have access to and upload that pairing to their company gallery. Let's take a quick look at how this helps Lois. So Lois suspects that her company has a number of boilerplate legal contract templates. So she goes to the Docs home screen and looks at her company's internal template gallery. Indeed, there, she finds that her company has a standardized sales order form, which she can use for this particular case, and she even notices that there's an add-on attached to this template. So this is the one she selects. She gets taken to the editor seeing the template, but she also notices that this template has come paired with the DocuSign add-on. Turns out, Lois's company uses DocuSign for all of its electronic signature needs. And one of Lois's coworkers has helpfully created this template and paired it with the DocuSign add-on to be uploaded to the company gallery. And this way, Lois knows exactly the right tool to use. Through this new sidebar, Lois is able to kick off the installation flow for the DocuSign add-on, which will then request the permissions it needs to run. After it's finished installing, Lois is able to launch the DocuSign add-on from this sidebar. This means that Lois had the right tool ready at her fingertips for the appropriate moment. This is accomplishing our goal of making workflows more efficient for enterprise users. So this DocuSign add-on is actually a new add-on that's currently under development. DocuSign is a recommended for G Suite partner and already has a number of integrations with other parts of G Suite. Their new Docs add-on is their latest integration, and so today we're very excited to have Marshall Nam, product manager at DocuSign, who will walk us through what this experience looks like. Thanks, Marshall.
Thank you very much, Alan. Quick show of hands. I'm curious how many of you have heard of DocuSign before? Okay, so I have a good friendly audience. Thank you. This is good. How many of you have actually signed a DocuSign document before? So about the same number. I'm going to say about 85% of you. And this is the real test. How many people here have actually used DocuSign to send a document to somebody, get a signature from somebody else? So it's that number cut by about 2/3. Only about 1/3 of you have done that. And that's good. That's good. I think I have something very cool to show you. You'll get to see the other side of that signature transaction you've been part of before. And you also see how we're using the power of template integrations to really unlock additional value, make things a lot easier for people that are using both G Suite and DocuSign together. So Lois, now that she's installed the DocuSign add-on using that very easy and intuitive experience, first gets a summary of the different things that are going to happen when she goes through a DocuSign transaction. So for this sales form, she'll click Start. And the first thing she'll do, she'll have that document automatically imported into DocuSign, and she'll see a quick preview of it there. But if she needs to add additional things, maybe terms and conditions, some supplemental forms, things she has to do for her company, she can reach right back into Google Drive and pull those additional documents in right there. And since we're integrated, we can automatically pull her information as well, and we recognize that the way that the template is structured, since it's add-on ready, we know that she's going to be the first signer on the document. And for Olivia, her customer that she's signing this deal with, all she has to have is her name and her email address. And she fills that in and continues to the next step. And now DocuSign will notify her that she has something available for your signature. And for those of you who have signed with DocuSign, which was about 85% of you, you've seen that email before. On this side, you can actually customize that email and send a message, maybe saying, hey, Olivia, it's Lois. This is the document, the sales order form we agreed on. Please sign this. For the third of you that said that you've been through this process before, this is the most time-consuming part of DocuSign in the sending experience. This is the part where you take the document and you have to actually mark on the document, this is where you're going to sign, this is where you have to add your name, this is where the date is going to go. And through the power of the template integrations that we have now available to us at G Suite, we've done something very interesting. If you remember back to the original document, it looked like a normal document, completely blank in all those different fields where you had to sign and add data. But because this is DocuSign ready, because it's integrated with this template, we have automatically recognized all the different places where Olivia has to put her signature, where she has to fill in her name, date. Those are automatically recognized and marked. And not only that, you can see in the upper left-hand corner, since there are two signers on this document, Lois, if she scrolls down, it's also recognized her fields as well and recognized which ones are hers. So all of this has been automatically done for her because of that strong template integration that we can do with Google technology. At this point, Lewis can go and she can add in additional initial fields on some of these supplemental forms and make sure that Olivia is going to read these documents before she goes through that. At that point, she's done. Lois can go in, she can sign her own document first. This is a sign and countersign example. She'll click right here. Her signature comes in, she can fill in these additional fields. And that's the magic behind the curtain. I think from this point, everybody here that said that they've signed a DocuSign document before, they're used to this experience. And you can see, as most of you know, Olivia will come in, she'll agree. We're actually doing something very interesting on the legal side to protect your business, making sure that people acknowledge the electronic signature records and signature disclosure, which makes this the legal equivalent of a written signature. And we make this really intuitive, guided process. If you click on that Start button on the left, Olivia, when she clicks that, she'll be guided right to the point where she needs to sign. That's automatically recognized. Those are all filled out. She'll initial those, and she'll finish the document. At this point, this is where a lot of the real magic of making all this process digital comes in. Because on Lois's side, she's received an email notification that that has been completed and that Olivia has come and signed that document. She can go and she can look at the document directly from that email, see all this information. And what's really interesting on her side, what you may not have known, is very important for this. She can actually go and look and see everything that happened in this transaction. This is not a scribble on a piece of paper. You can see every single action by every single person that was taken on this document, when it was viewed, when it was sent, when it was signed. Did somebody look at it and sign it later? And you have a timestamp and you have an IP address and a geo-IP if it's on a mobile device for everything that happened. So you have incredibly strong legal protection for this. This is something that you want for your business. It's also something very interesting. I think it changes things culturally. In sales organizations like Lois, some of our customers tell us there's a new term. Since they get rich notifications of when different things happen in the process, at the end of the quarter, some of our sales teams, they tell us there's a new phenomenon called docu-stalking, where they will actually go inside of DocuSign and hit refresh over and over and over again. Has my deal closed? Have they signed? No more actually taking a document, printing it, putting it in a FedEx envelope, and praying. That's the old school. Well, now we've moved to the cloud. Now that we've gone digital, we've done that with G Suite. It suddenly becomes entirely digital and something that becomes a rich digital transaction for you. And that's what we're really trying to do. We talked about the days or weeks that it might take for a FedEx envelope to get sent out and come back to you. No more of that. If no more days, no more weeks. Actually, 84% of our transactions, since we're in the cloud, we know are signed in less than a day. Actually, about half of them are signed in less than an hour. And take all those costs that go into it, costs of lost business, costs of sending, signing, printing. We actually save about $36 per document for our customers for every single document that they sign. And in no small part thanks to the reach that we get with G Suite and the Google ecosystem, we're bringing 150,000 new customers, new users into our ecosystem every single day. And I talked about us wanting to make every single approval, agreement, decision-making process digital for our customers. We want to do that in all of everybody's favorite G Suite applications. So we have integrations with Docs, with Gmail. As Alan mentioned, we'll be having a Docs add-on coming in at the end of this month. And we have an Android app as well. I think sometime around a year and a half ago, we started seeing more people signing on mobile devices than we saw signing from a desktop or from a standard web browser. So our Android has been a huge part of that. In our Android application, we can sign Sheets, we can sign Docs, and all new for this year, we recently refreshed our entire design to fit with Google Material Design Standards. So very interested to help people like Lewis, very interested to help all of you out there, and very excited about this new template integration and this partnership with Google. Thank you. Alan?
Thanks, Marshall. We're really excited about the new DocuSign add-on and about all the other add-ons that can soon be used in template integrations. So if you're a developer out there who's interested in creating a template integration with us, we'd love to hear from you. Please fill out the form at this URL. Otherwise, template integrations will be coming out later this year, and we're super excited about the great set of launch partners we have for it. Partners including DocuSign, Balsamiq, Lucidchart, Supermetrics, PandaDoc, and EasyBib. So with this new integration, Lois was able to successfully get signatures that she needed on her sales order form, launch her new product, and help her company grow wildly. So to move on to our next new Docs integration, we'd love to have Brian come back and take the mic.
Thanks, Alan. Raise your hand if you occasionally, or even regularly, use a storage provider other than Google Drive. OK, so I'm seeing a fair number of hands in the room. Previously, if you worked at a company that was using a storage provider other than Google Drive, there was no good way to use Google Docs to edit your content. We're working to solve this. We're working on a new set of APIs that will allow users to create and edit Google Docs files that are stored and managed by third-party storage providers. Last year, we announced our first partner in this effort, Box. Today, I'm very excited to announce 2 additional partners that we're working with, Ignite and Citrix. We're working with Ignite and Citrix in order to allow joint customers to create and edit files using Google Docs that are stored and managed in Ignite Connect and Citrix Share file. With these integrations, users will get the best of both Google Docs collaboration and machine learning functionality alongside the powerful storage and workflow functionality offered by Ignite Connect and Citrix Share file. I'd now like to invite Ronen Vengosh on stage, VP of Business Development at Ignite, to introduce Ignite and walk us through a user journey using Google Docs with Ignite Connect. Thanks, Ronen.
Thanks, Brian. Very excited to be here today. For those of you that, going the wrong way, here we go. For those of you that are not familiar with Ignite, we are an enterprise file sync and share company, among other things. We're a content intelligence company, to be exact. We have 2 product lines. One is Ignite Protect, which is a data governance solution. And our second product, which we'll be talking about today, is Ignite Connect. Ignite Connect is an enterprise file sync and share solution that's widely deployed. Around 14,000 business customers around the world use it across a range of industries. And one of these customers is Design Within Reach, which is a joint customer of ours and of Google's. And Design Within Reach was founded with the vision of getting kind of heirloom quality design within reach of the public. And they use Ignite and Google Docs both in their headquarters as well as in their 34 studios around the country. And one of the cool things about those studios is that consultants that work in these studios do not have their own individual machines. So there's a pool of machines, a pool of computers that are available on the floor, and individual consultants are able to access their content securely and immediately through any one of those machines, right? So let's walk through kind of a user experience of a consultant that works in one of these studios. Her name is Debbie, and she wants to work on a new proposal for a customer. So to do that, she walks up to any available computer on the studio floor, fires up Ignite Connect, which is the user interface that you see right there in front of you. And without any complication at all, right from the start menu, she can fire up a new Google Doc. And the document is set up, ready to go with all the features that you'd expect from Google Docs. All of those things work right from there. But the cool thing is, the document is now stored and managed behind the scenes by Ignite, which means that all the security policies, all the permissions, all the policies that have been created by the IT management are right there to help her, and she doesn't need to kind of take any additional steps to share and manage that content. So, Debbie edits the document. when she feels it's in good shape enough to share and get some assistance from other members of the team. She can, for example, assign a task to her teammate Gary. The task can have a due date. Gary gets a notification. He knows that Debbie is asking him to review the document and comment. All of this is very simple for Gary because, again, the permissions are already set because he already has access to that folder in Ignite. And so he can come in and do his work without any additional complication. Other members of the team, again, behind the scenes, can go in, add their own comments, their own ideas. All of this is the standard functionality of Google Docs, but now is available in a much simpler way for folks using Ignite. So once everybody's happy with the version that was created and it's time to share this with a customer, Debbie is able to do that right from within the Google Docs interface, right? So by clicking the sharing functionality over there, she gets a sharing modal that pops up, and then all the advanced features and sharing capabilities that Ignite brings to the table are available to her. She, for example, can password protect the document, send a link that expires after a certain time or on a certain date, and all the other good things that you can do with Ignite Connect. Once a document gets to the customer, even if the customer for some reason doesn't have a Google account, they're able to view the document even without starting a new account. So they can do that right from within Ignite Connect without an additional account. Very cool stuff. So, but that's just the beginning, right? Because even though you have all this functionality of Google Docs and Ignite, the real power comes from the company side, from the enterprise side, where all the policies that the organization has set to enforce the sharing of content, the security of content, are handled behind the scenes by Ignite Connect. The organization has an audit trail of everything that's happened with the document, who opened it, who touched it, who edited it, when did they do that, what devices they did that from. And of course, that's something that comes in very handy in cases of an audit or a legal challenge or anything like that. And you know, the user experience, while all these security features are happening behind the scenes, all this power is there. From the user's perspective, things are actually much simpler than they were before, right? So Debbie can start this document right from within Ignite Connect. She doesn't need to context switch. She can also do that from the Ignite desktop application that she's got on her machine. So really the best of both worlds. The user's happy, the administrator's happy, and things are going the right way. So, you know, to sum it up, I think the power of this type of integration is really in the fact, as Bethany Camp of Design Within Reach says, the ability to let you know, employees focus on their customers rather than on managing the content, doing all the hard work and the heavy lifting behind the scenes, and the rest just happens by itself. So we're very, very excited about this new integration with Google Docs, and we're looking forward to making that available to our customer base. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronen. Great. So in this session, we've covered a lot. We walked through the existing types of integrations, which include add-ons in Docs and Sheets and APIs for Sheets and Slides. And then we introduced 3 new types of integrations that are currently in development: Slides add-ons, template integrations, and storage integrations. We saw integrations from large partners, as well as from independent developers. And we walked through use cases that spanned design, legal, and marketing. I want to thank all our partners for working with us to integrate Google Docs more seamlessly into users' workflows. And a special thanks to Ronen and Marshall for walking us through some examples. For those who would like to learn more about Google Docs and integrations, here are a few sessions that are related to this talk. At the top, Machine Learning and Explore in Google Docs. These are all occurring tomorrow. Sessions on G Suite integrations and leveraging AppScript APIs and add-ons, as well as leveraging Google Docs and G Suite in order to empower your legal and sales teams.